Yeah, I mean, because that's exactly how it is. Because you can't go anywhere without this kind of garbage being pushed. I mean, going back to the Chicago Cubs, for example, probably I know it's probably sounds like a silly example, but for the longest time they were owned by the Chicago Tribune, and now they're owned by the Ricketts family. And the Ricketts family, I don't know much about them, but I know they owned a pretty big newspaper somewhere out in Nebraska. Well, guess what? They now have a lesbian. They have a lesbian sister. Lesbian sister. They've now started having pride nights at Wrigley Field at home games. They've actually scheduled double headers, which in baseball you never actually schedule a double header. Double headers are for when you have a game rained out and you have to make it up. But no, they're scheduling double headers so they can cooperate with the nearby pride parade, since there's a sodomite neighborhood right there. So yeah, you're absolutely right. This stuff is spread all over the place. It is going to be almost like hell for those of us who are Christians and are against this garbage. I mean, we've lost too many people to this sick agenda, and we can. It's almost like we can really only worry about ourselves and how we combat this and how we protect the people that we love from. But even sometimes they're not exactly a
it's a local issue, as the way I look at it. Because, no, you're right, but it's a local issue because see one of the problems is people think you're going to solve it on a national level. You're not. You are not Jesus. You are not the Savior of the world. You will not save the world. It's not going to work. That's not your job, anyways. Your job is to listen and do what you need to. So how does that work out? Simple. You focus on your communities, and you focus on yourself, on your families, your people, your neighbors, the people around you, and really your local area. Your local area. Forget about even regional. Local. Because your influence as an individual, it's already going to be a hard press as it is, even within small circles. You can't expect to get a lot done. You just can't. It's not going to. But if you can work in your local area, you might be able to do something good. Indeed, you can't think big with this because, again, the problems are too deep. There's too much. There's big people with a lot of money and a lot of power and no morals who you are up against. You are a bug. They will squash you. You are easily squashed. Even us at Shubat, we're not big people. We're average guys. We do our thing. We research and read and write. We work very hard. Make no mistake. We work very hard overtime every week. We are working, but we know we know something of our limits, and we know that we can't stop a lot of these things, but we can influence some, and we can work within a certain range, and that's what we try to focus on because that's all that we can do. So I encourage anybody who wants to ask, what can I do? First off, I would say stop messing around with politics because you're not going to effectuate change that way because because the problem lies with the people themselves. Politicians are idiots because the people are idiots because the politicians came from the people. They're not aliens that dropped out of the sky one day. They're just not.
No, and they're always in somebody's back pocket.
Focus on yourself. Focus on the things around you that you can change, and do.
Did you catch any of that?
No, I didn't catch it.
No, I just said politicians, they're in somebody's back pocket anyway. Once they get into position, they're going to do what's right for themselves, not for the people.
Absolutely. The politician is just a mirror. It's a mirror of the society, good and bad, and it mirrors everything back. I mean, why do you said that's what they all are. That's what they have been throughout history. People blame the politicians. The politicians are easy to blame because they're an obvious face. The question is the real people who cause the problems are the men who have lots of money and power and make the real business and backdoor deals that will never be visible to the public. And then it comes from the people who've adopted bad philosophies in the public and have allowed them to propagate, and they're just reaching their natural fruits, the fruits of their natural fruits.
Yeah. But also, you know, what you talk about, you know, doing work in your local community, that actually got me thinking. When I was talking to you earlier about myself having worked in a pizza parlor from 18 into my early 20s, I actually kind of see that as a positive in a certain way, because not only did it allow me to get in the minds of, you know, these teenage kids that I was working with, but I was actually to kind of plant something in their minds that they probably wouldn't have heard anywhere else except from me. So that actually makes a lot of sense what you're saying about doing it local.
Yeah, I mean, local is, I mean, so you're not going to go out and you'll give a great speech out there and change the world. I mean, YouTube is a great platform because you can reach hundreds of people that you never normally reach. Hundreds, thousands, maybe even more. But even if it's, you know, a few dozen, it's more than you're going to reach by many other means. But with that, you know, the local area is where you're going to have your most effect. It always has been that way. It's why a lot of times national politics is just a dog and pony show. It's a distraction. I mean, yeah, you know, they call it show business for ugly people. Couldn't make it in the soap opera industry, they're going into politics. Same thing. So so it's entertainment. So what do? Stop watching bad entertainment. I mean, you want to make a difference? You know, I love when people blame the television and the evil forces, you know, the television for corrupting children and their morals. Well, I got a question for you. Why do you have a television in your house if they're really doing that? Just get rid of it. You know, there was a story recently about Arthur the cartoon. You remember Arthur?
Yeah, I think I actually started to mention that earlier to you. I know the story.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. You did mention. I forgot. Yeah, Arthur's going away.
I mean, they tried to do that before, like back in 2005, but it was more kind of subliminal, because they did it with like the rabbit. What's the character's name? Buster. They had him like a video postcard thing, and they featured two lesbos on that. But it was still, though, even though they showed it, it was still kind of a subliminal message. But this with having I think it was Arthur's teacher that they had marry another man. That's just straight up showing it. And I'd actually thought about calling PBS and recording the call like what Ted did with the bakeries. But at the same time, what's the point? That's not going to change them, I don't think.
I understand. I mean, it's good to expose these things. It's good to expose it, but it's not going to per se change it. And we have to expect that we're not going to be able to change it. But the thing is, if you know it's bad for people and they're doing this, just stop partaking of it. Just stop. I mean, for crying out loud, it takes the pagan Varg Vikernes. Varg, I don't know if you know about Varg, but he was a very well-known black metal drummer, and he became famous for murdering the musician Euronymous, a real name Oystein Arseth, and he stabbed him to death, I think, 24 times. And Varg, they were both pagans. They were involved in a series of church burnings throughout Norway. And Varg is now online. He does videos under the handle of Thulian Perspective, where he promotes paganism. And he says a lot of things that are evil, but one of the things he says is this: you know, if you don't want your children to be influenced by, you know, he'll talk about Christianity or other ideas that he calls bad, some of which are bad, some of which clearly are not, because he's a heathen. To say, why are you letting him watch the television? I think he has 7 or 8 kids himself with his wife. So, I mean, if it takes a pagan to figure this out and talk about this, the Christian has no excuse. And the heathen knows it. What's your excuse? It's not there. There is no excuse.
Yeah, it's really amazing you mentioning this, but it's amazing and ironic at the same time that even people who, like you said, are heathens and degenerate and all that, take your pick on the adjective, they have this more figured out than a lot of Christians do, or so-called Christians. It's really unbelievable when you think about it. These heretics, like that guy. I mean, I've never heard of him, but it's amazing that even they can let a little bit of truth slip out.
Yeah, because evil is just a perversion of good and true. So even they'll say things at times that are true because that exists. They'll even say things that are true. I mean, it's absolutely, they know it. They do know it. So you look at people like this who figure some of these things out. We have no excuse. We have all the things. This is something that I love about the internet. Is before people could say, well, there wasn't enough information. We didn't have access to this. No, you see what this is right here. This is a cell. This is a smartphone. Okay, this thing right here. I picked this up for $50 at Walmart. Okay, that's where I got mine. I have no shame in saying it. It's like $50 at Walmart. You can get more expensive. You get more expensive. You can get more expensive or less expensive. This gives you access to a world of information. This gives you access to everything that the world has to offer. The knowledge of the ages. The people would travel around the world to read books about, etc. It's all right here. You can read it. Not all of it, but you can read a lot of it. You can educate yourself. You can talk to people. You could be in the sand dunes of Afghanistan and talk to people on this thing. You could be in the jungles of the Congo. You could be, you could be in New York City. You could be wherever you want. Pick your place on earth. Somewhere in Iceland. You could be logging in the timber, logging out in Oregon.
Sitting on the toilet.
You can read all the classics right here. It's right here. You got them. You can sit in your chair, in your underwear, with Dorito stains on your chest in a dark room in a basement in Brooklyn, and you can read Shakespeare.
Exactly.
You can teach yourself a foreign language. You can read the news and so it's happening. You have no excuse. Nobody does. I take that very seriously too for myself as well. There is no excuse anymore for laziness or apathy because everything that you ever wanted and asked for is right here. $50 at Walmart if you want to do that. $50 and an internet connection. And if you're a cheapskate, you go to Starbucks and you go sit down there. You don't buy anything because they let people sit for free. You go sit in there and you just go and you type on this thing and you can read. There is no excuse anymore for any of this. There's no excuse for bad behavior, for not knowing, because you have the capacity to know. It's true, it might take people some time to figure out what to do. It might take some effort. It might take a while. But the idea that you don't have the ability to learn, this excuse has, for the most part, for most people around the world, it has been removed. Even people, like you see all these refugees that come from Africa, people talk about, these refugees from the jungles of Congo or from the, from, I don't know, Syria or wherever else. What do you see all of them doing? They all got their smartphone out and they're all doing this.
Yeah.
They're all tapping on it and reading something. If they can do it, you can do it.
Yeah, and also, this is probably not the same example, but to make a long...
I have no patience with it.
Yeah. I don't have any patience for it either. It's ridiculous. But this is probably not the best example to use for this. But one of the things that I get, and there was like an atheist asshole that I was dealing with not too long ago. He uses the same kind of arguments towards me that most atheists usually do. Like they'll take scriptures from the Bible and say, "Oh well, Sean, it says this, it says that." I'm sure you probably heard the infamous haircut comment that the Bible says you can't get your hair cut. I'm like, and I tell this guy, dude, do your research. Research the actual meaning of what that verse says. It doesn't say you can't cut your hair. It doesn't say you can't properly groom yourself. It just says to not cut your hair in the shapes of pagan images that show praise to false prophets. And it's just amazing. A simple search, like what you were stressing there, will explain that. But they're too lazy to do this. So it's like, so maybe it's not searching at all, but it's half-ass searching, this example that I'm giving. but it's the same kind of thing, and it drives me crazy too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just there's no, like I said, there's no reason for a lot of a lot of the really bad behavior anymore. I mean, it's not that's not to say that inaccuracies won't happen, that you don't learn and grow, but it's just a lot of the nonsense, certainly not all of it. There's no excuse for it anymore because you have a means of fixing yourself. I mean, I'll tell you something. When I was writing my book, Lions of the Faith, originally, I'll tell you. I read a lot of documents for that, and I did go to libraries through, big libraries, Yale Library, Trinity College. I went to all kind of different places for it. I was reading very old books and very old stacks for research. One of the big factors that helped me was this, because this helped me to leverage which books I needed to research to get the information I needed so as to accurately write my book, and to find biographies that would have been very hard to find. I was going into the seminary library for Barcelona Seminary Library, Catholic Seminary, to read books from the 16th century to help. I don't have, and you know where I was doing it from? I was doing it from my bedroom and writing. Because I can't get into a plane, leave my wife and then 2 kids, to just get up, go to the store, this library, look around books, see what looked interesting, try to find stuff, read a bunch, and then of course have to do all the other functions of living, like sleeping, eating, breathing, going to the bathroom, taking a shower, paying taxes, paying bills, the stuff that life is made out of, the little things that you have to do every day because you're a human being. I could do all of them while I had a crying baby or a baby or two, and one that needed to get changed and one that needed to eat, and maybe somebody had to go to the store to go buy food or diapers. I could do it. I didn't lose any efficiency. In fact, my efficiency was increased and my costs were significantly decreased. That's how it is for everyone now. You have that ability. You have that ability to do these things. And yet it seems like we're stupider than ever, because what do we do with these things? We do it to do 2 things. We use it to masturbate, either in the physical sense or to masturbate our egos. Because that's what a lot of this is. You're playing with yourself. You're making yourself feel good.
Yeah, or you're playing some stupid game and you become obsessed with it and start cursing because you ran into the piece of fudge on the Candy Crush game.
What was that? I'm playing Fortnite right now. What was that? I'm playing Fortnite.
My God, dude!
That's what the people are doing.
Quick story about that. There's a game that my brother's playing right now. I don't know if it's Fortnite, but it's something, some battle game. I cannot tell you how many times I've heard him scream through his door, cursing. And I get concerned. I'm like, what's wrong, dude? What's wrong? He's like, nothing. I just lost a general or whatever. I'm like, dude, you had me scared out of my mind. Because, for those of you who don't know, my brother is my roommate. I live with my brother. And so I'll hear him screaming through his walls, and I'll think, God, he must have hurt himself or something. No, he just lost a general in some stupid ass war game on his phone. It's crazy.
No, people go crazy. I mean, it's why those things aren't. I mean, okay, I understand entertainment, and again, I'm not against all entertainment. I don't want to be like that, because that's too extreme, obviously, and I don't promote that. But the fact is, there's a lack of balance, and the phone provides. I'm not saying you shouldn't entertain yourself or use it to send photos or take pictures. I mean, I don't want to emphasize that. What I'm saying is that this is a tool. This is a great tool, like a gun or a knife. You can use a knife to go cut steak,
it can
prepare fish, and cut the rope, to fix something in your house, or you can use it to cut your wrists.
No, it's something that's very useful that can actually help you, but people use it the wrong way.
Yeah, it's a very useful. Exactly. I mean, okay, playing games, yeah, you entertain yourself. Okay, you want to go take pictures, let's do it, whatever. You want to read, do it. Okay, balance, balance, balance. That's what it involves. But then,
Amen.
if you're gonna sit here on the phone all day and you're just gonna look at pictures of yourself, or do what you see a lot of women do. A lot of women they'll put bunny ears on themselves and like little flowers and that's all they ever do. And then you see people posting junk on Facebook or Instagram. InstaFat is what I call it because it promotes thottery. What's the other what's the other one? It's Instagram. There's the other one too. Snapchat. All these things. I mean, it doesn't really matter what it is. When you're consumed by this, you become imbalanced. It destroys your capacity for thinking, reasoning, creativity. And if we have a chance in history to be more creative, more innovative, to do more things than ever before. And people are doing with it, they're throwing it away. You want to talk about punishment from God, punishment for what people are doing wrong? This will become a punishment for somebody because instead of using it for good, it'll be used for evil, and it will consume you, just like with the sodomite issue. Sex is meant to be generative and unitive in that order for men and women, and it's a good thing. But when it's abused and perverted, eventually it consumes you.
Yeah. No, that's very true. That's very true. It makes a lot of sense. I mean, we have all this technology, but so many people they don't use it to the full extent to actually make it beneficial. It's all a stupid crap.
Right, you don't use it. And like I said, that's why I get so stupid. That's why I get so emphatic about the trends and where they're moving, because what this has done is this has helped to accelerate the trends that have existed. This is an accelerant. This is lighter fluid. Because what you do is you have these evils in society exist. Okay, they were there in the 50s. Now with this little thing, you can communicate with people all around the world. You can share the same ideas faster and help them reach their logical conclusion faster. What might have taken 50 years, 100 years, can now take 1 to 5 years to realize, the same amount of time. And there's there's less of a barrier to obstructing or reversing the process. It makes things more efficient, and that's a very important thing to think about. So this is just an accelerant with it. I mean, I'm not saying, well, we should get rid of all phones and do that. No, no, no. This is accelerating the very problem. The prophecy itself is not being dealt with.
Well, and also, here's the thing. With that, because of that, I mean, just for what it's worth, here's mine. Mine's through Sprint, a little more pricey, but through that, I've been able to surround myself.
Fancy Sprint.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. But the point is, because of that, I've been able to. I met a friend in Ireland. One of my best friends. Well, one of my best friends now is a guy from Ireland, who, because I started doing YouTube videos through my computer, through my phone, I now have a buddy in Ireland. I discovered you and Ted through it. I've learned so much from you guys. So, yeah, as dangerous as technology can be, that right there is what I consider making good use of it, making the best use of it. Because I've learned so much from you guys that about things,
Absolutely.
things and people that I never knew about before.
You have expressed it perfectly. Exactly that. That's the way it is meant to be used. This can do great things. And I said, I love it. I love this. I love this because it's such a useful tool. I mean, this is the envy of kings. If this was in centuries ago, people would have gone to war over these things because they're so useful. But it's how they're being used. It's how they're being used. It's what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, Andrew, one thing.
And people talk about conflict coming, war.
Go ahead, dude. Please go ahead.
Oh, sorry about that. No, it's just people talk about conflict coming, and if the social dysfunction that's coming that I mentioned about, it's very likely to come. Um, the proof of it is right here in what you can read about. It's your choice what to do with it.
Exactly. Exactly. And not to just jump from that very compelling topic to something maybe not so compelling. This is something that I wanted to get in with you that I didn't think about to get it in with Ted, but this is something that I've also
Sure.
mentioned to you off camera. But of all the heresies that we have going on in our society, the LGTB and abortion, all this other sick crap. Another thing that people really don't seem to care about or don't take as seriously is not just drugs, but in particular marijuana, pot. The way I told just before, the way that people act towards this stuff, and I just wanted to get your opinion on this, but it is absurd how nuts over pot that people are. And I swear to God, if it came down to someone picking pot or their own child, they would probably pick the pot.
For some people, definitely. I mean, what does the pot issue speak to? Because the pot issue, this is an interesting fact. Pot is replacing alcohol as a social drug of choice. Alcohol consumption has drastically declined. You wouldn't think so, but it's actually declined a lot, a huge amount, tremendous amount. What does it speak to? What does the pot issue speak to? Well, people generally don't smoke socially. They smoke in isolation. It's a self-indulgent thing because it tends to follow people being alone and away from others. So what are we seeing with this? The pot trend, it's becoming like what alcohol was. And in America, we have to remember, why was alcohol abuse such a big issue? Not to say that alcohol isn't abused throughout history, but because we make alcohol a big issue culturally. Oh, you can't have a drink until you're 21 years old. You're obviously a bad person. You're a bad person. Okay? What's happened is, what is marijuana? It's a plant. And it's supposed to be, some people say it has medicinal properties, and they claim that it really helps them. Sort of like the opium plant. Opium is historically used as a medicine. What's the issue? Because what do we get from opium? We get morphine. We get morphine from it. Morphine is used in hospitals. It's the best painkiller that we have. Morphine and morphine derivatives. You can also get Xanax. Not Xanax. What's the word for it? Hydrocodone from it. Oxycodone, and so forth.
Yep.
So what's the issue that we see here with this obsession with marijuana? This isn't about health. This isn't about helping yourself in a legitimate way. This is about the abuse of medicine to hide personal problems. I mean, alcohol has good use. What makes drinking alcohol a sin? Is it that the Bible's against alcohol? No, Jesus himself drank alcohol. This is the flaw of the temperance movement. So what is it? It's the improper use of it. With the marijuana, this is medicine. You don't just go around. Look, if I get a headache, I'm not gonna go. I'll take an aspirin. I don't get up in the morning and say, "Hey, I'm feeling bad about myself. Let me go down 10 aspirin pills, or snort up my nose, or smoke them in a joint, so I can feel happy about myself because it makes me feel like I'm floating on the clouds."
Yeah.
You just don't do that. Why? Because it's an abuse of medicine, and it can make you sick. That's what we're having. This weed issue is that the issue with the weed is an abuse of medicine, and it's not actually about helping people. It's about substituting one addiction for another. That's all this thing is. It's not helping anybody, and frankly it's being done because somebody stands to make a buck for it.
Yeah. Well, and something else too.
That's all that it is.
With
That's what it is, and it's going to be a big trend for the future. Very big trend.
Yeah, it definitely will be. And what's insane about it is, you know, you can't go anywhere without somebody smoking up a joint. I mean, the people that I, you know, whenever, like, for example, whenever I see an article talking about why marijuana is bad for you, because people seem to think that, oh, it grows naturally, so it's okay for me. It actually has some helping things along with it, which Ted even mentioned in his video when he was talking about the narcos. Yes, the hemp plant, it can be used for good, like to heal wounds, but it's not intended to smoke and get high and fry your brains. And the thing is, people are under this impression that because it grows naturally, that means
exactly it's not.
I mean, people have no idea that when they smoke this crap,
It's like with magic mushrooms. Magic mushrooms. Right. Well, what you're doing is, you said you're abusing the medicine. It's like with methamphetamine. Most people. Fun fact about methamphetamine. Methamphetamine is Adderall. It's a medication. Methamphetamine, when used properly, actually can help you. It can do. It actually is good. It actually can do good. It can do good things for you depending upon certain conditions. Okay, that's fine. The fact is, when people are taking methamphetamine as Adderall or as another kind of drug, that drug is being used in a specific context, and I believe the dosage is 100 to 800 milligrams daily. When people are doing methamphetamine, like what we talk about meth, like for drug use, these people are making it with questionable chemicals of questionable quality, and they're doing 3 to 5 grams at a time. So one case you have the guy who's taking a pill. It's 800 milligrams daily maximum. People who are doing drugs are taking homemade stuff, 3,000 to 5,000 milligrams with every hit from their meth pipe, or from their their joint, or from every time they're snorting it. And they'll do this 3, 4, 5 times in a single day, sometimes even more. So I mean, people wonder why people wonder why people are going crazy and they're acting nuts, and you become dangerous to society and dangerous to themselves. It's because they're taking this medicine and they're saying, hey, I don't want to use it to help myself. I want to use it so I can feel like I'm flying in the clouds.
Yeah.
And that's why you have this problem.
One argument that I love so much
you talk about
is when they try to say, oh, well, I've never seen anybody come home and get high on marijuana and beat their wife, but I've seen it plenty of times with people who have gotten drunk on alcohol. Well, of course there's a difference. Pot's going to slow you down. It's going to make you lazy. Alcohol just puts you in a different crazy point of mind, or whatever you want to call it, because you've had too freaking much, because you're a dumbass who drank too damn much.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is. And like I said, you're taking when you take these things, you put them into this context. It's very simple. The reason why we have this problem is because we have an imbalance in our society. We have a moral vacuum. We have a social vacuum. We have no sense of balance and appropriate usage. So what happens? We get these violent swings between over moralism and obsessive behavior, where anything goes. You see this reflected in law, where I wrote this with abortion. You could see the banning of abortion in our lifetime, but the fact is that abortion is what is abortion? It's evil, but it is a subset of eugenics. It is a particular eugenic practice. Okay, it's evil. The support of eugenics itself is rising in the United States drastically. Meanwhile, people are embracing things like sterilization, things like racialist ideologies. So if abortion is banned, you could see a return of mass sterilizations being not I'm not going to say mandated, but encouraged and subsidized by the government. So you didn't actually get rid of the problem. What you eliminated was one practice, but you never dealt with the philosophy that caused this issue in the beginning. This is why I keep emphasizing we have a philosophy crisis. Philosophy, philosophy, philosophy.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And it's just the thing is, like, I'm not ignoring that. But like just going to like back to the whole pot thing. It's just so ridiculous that you have to have. It's just ridiculous that you have to have a drug to be able to enjoy yourself. I was at yeah. Like, here's the thing. 2015, my brother and I were at up in Chicago, and we went to Wrigley Field to see AC/DC play a show there, and the show was incredible. It was awesome. AC/DC, my favorite band of all time. The only problem, place was flooded with pot. I was probably the people in our section were passing a joint around.
Oh yeah, I've seen this.
I was probably the only one that passed the joint by. But it's ridiculous. I mean, I have friends.
You passed the joint by. Exactly.
Yeah. Because I'm like, listen, I'm going to be straight up honest. I've tried the crap before. I did it twice 15 years ago. Tried it twice. Yeah. The only reason I did it the second time is because my buddy said, oh, no, Sean, you don't get the high the first time. You got to do it the second time. Well, guess what? You don't get it the second time either. It's a waste of time. It's nothing but a bunch of crap you're smoking into your body. And it is dangerous stuff. Because if you actually read what's in that crap, you wouldn't want to smoke it.
Yeah.
And my father, he doesn't remember giving me this advice.
No.
But I remember it clear as day, and this is always stuck. It's always stuck with me. I know you and Ted have both talked about stuff that has stuck with you. This is something that stuck with me. My father, I was at his house visiting him one time, and he was drinking a can of Hamm's beer. So what he's always drank growing up. We were talking about the same thing, and he says to me, Sean, let me tell you something about pot. You see in my hand right now I have this can of Hamm's. When I open this can of Hamm's, or I pour myself a shot of whiskey, I know what's in it. When you light up that joint to smoke it, you don't know what the hell you're breathing into your body. You don't know what it could be laced with. You don't know what's in it. So by that alone, it's dangerous. And it's true. When you read what the chemicals and crap that's in it, and the amount of tar. I mean, you breathe in more tar than you would a cigarette. And I'm not saying, hey, smoke cigarettes either. But it's this myth that people have of it not being dangerous and it's no big deal. It's exactly that, a myth. It is dangerous stuff.
Yeah. You're smoking something, and a lot of times I said you don't know what it is, because even if you say it comes from this good source, you don't know actually where a lot of this stuff is coming from. I use the example of meth because I've seen this so much. You look up shake and bake meth. If anybody wants to look into that, this is something that a lot of people do, out in this part of the country, and it's, a lot of this stuff is toxic. A lot of this crap is toxic, and again, it's physically not good for you. It's going to make you sick. And then you ask yourself the question of, why am I doing this? Well, a lot of this issue is it comes back to you're looking for something. You're looking to fill this void within you. So you're willing to basically drink garbage to try to make yourself, consume garbage to try to give yourself a sensation that you're feeling better than what you actually are. And you said you don't know what's in it. You don't know the proportions of what's in it. There are some weeds, for example, that some people will smoke to get high. I'm thinking of one of them. They call it Jimson weed, Datura. You smoke this it can kill you because you can't actually control the amount of toxins in it. When it comes to some of this, this weed that you're dealing with, even stuff like cocaine or whatever, you don't know what you're dealing with. You're dealing with a chemical that if it's not pharmaceutical grade, and you're not going to get pharmaceutical grade because this isn't coming from a pharmacist other than the street pharmacist. You don't know what exactly you're dealing with. You don't know what else you're consuming. You just don't. I mean, a lot of times, the deaths that you see on the news comes from this weird stuff that people find there, and you're like, how the heck did that get in there? Well, I didn't know. I was smoking it anyways.